next verse that I wanted to focus on with everybody is it says that, and this is the verse I remember a couple of times I get to meet people, elected officials, and they say, and sometimes they're religious, and they sometimes quote this verse to me. It's a very big verse, especially in the religious community amongst the elected officials. They say, if you will be quiet at this time, peace and salvation will stand for the Jews from another place, and you and your household will perish. You and your household will perish if you'll be quiet. Mordechai tells Esther, don't be quiet, because if you'll be silent, the salvation will come to the Jews from another place, and you'll perish. And who knows if this was the very reason why you came to power? What does that mean? That if what does that mean? If you will be quiet at this time, she says, who knows if the king will desire that, if the king will desire for the coming year, which is, if he'll desire you, which is the time of the death. Who knows if you'll be in favor? You could be out of favor then. And he was standing in Nisan, and it was 11 months away. He was standing in Nisan, it was 11 months away. Who knows if he'll still be in power? So that's what the king was saying. So what's the basic message here? This here is a message, this is an opportunity where, let me read to you here. I'm looking at the, let me read to you the comments that they collect here from the Midrash. It says, if you keep silent now, do not plead for your nation. In the end, you will be silent in the time to come. You'll not be able to justify yourself for not doing good in your lifetime when you had the chance. So it means, say, this is your opportunity. If you don't speak up now, you won't be able to justify your own life. And if you don't do this, God will bring salvation from another place. Rashi says, God has many means at his disposal to save the Jews. He could send the king to Shushan to kill Achashverosh. And then, if that happened, those living in the house of the king would actually be in the greatest danger. So he says, salvation will come to the Jews from another place, but you and your household will perish. And who knows that if this king, who knows if at this time the king, you'll still be reigning. Meaning to say, you need to do this for yourself. You think you're doing me the favor? You need to do this for yourself. That's what he's basically saying. And this is something that I think about a lot. A lot of times when some of us are approached, we have an opportunity to do a favor, to help people, or to help a Jewish organization, or we can stand up. Who is the ultimate beneficiary of this action that we do? The ultimate beneficiary is we, if we do it. That we are the ones who are the ultimate beneficiaries. That's the message here. If you don't do this, who's going to suffer? You. And if you do this, you'll be the one who's saved. So there's a story that they told that about Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak of Lubavitch, that his father, Rav Shalom Ber, was one of the Rebbe, Rav Shalom Ber. He sent Rav Yosef Yitzchak of Lubavitch was the sixth Rebbe. He was the sixth Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe. He's the one, by the way, you could go to his grave. He's buried in Queens, New York. So he was once on a journey, and his father, Rav Shalom Ber, told him to do a favor for one of the Hasidim who was in need of his help. So Rav Yosef Yitzchak, when he came back, he told his father, and everything he told me to do, and I did the favor for that man. I did it exactly. His father, Rav Shalom Ber, said, no, you didn't do a favor for him. You did a favor for yourself. It's Hashem who did the favor for him by arranging for you to be the agent for whom Hashem's will be realized. But you did the favor for yourself. And so now, Reb Shalom Ber told his son, the sixth Rebbe, he told his son a story. So this is a story within a story. story within a story within a story. Okay, what's the story? The story is, it was in the year 1888, and there was a lot of anti-Semitism in Russia. And what was going on was, by the way, this story, unfortunately, I could see it playing out right before our eyes. And there was rumors that the Jews that there was going to be a pogrom in St. Petersburg. So Reb Shalom Ber said that his father, now we're back to the fourth Rebbe, Reb Shmuel, he set out for St. Petersburg to try to stop the pogrom, And as you can imagine, the head of the Chabad Hasidim had many connections, and within a few days, he managed to have the people who were planning the pogrom arrested, and he calmed them all down. But that was just behind the scenes. But he wanted to also, make it official. He wanted to officially strengthen the community. So the people he spoke with in the government, the senior people, told him that they should get, what they should do is they should get an impressive delegation of people to visit the president of the Senate and the minister of the Interior. And he says, go with the impressive delegation. Don't just go with a bunch of rabbis. Bring together, some of the maskilim, the business people, and some of the people who are part of the Enlightenment, i.e., the secular Jews, not part of the not just rabbis. So Reb Shmuel came back, and he called a meeting in his home with a lot of businessmen and maskilim. So basically not Hasidic Jews, and he said they should choose from amongst them a nice group who would join him in making up this delegation to the Minister of Interior and the President of the Senate to try and save the Jews, to try and protect the Jews of St. Petersburg. But there is a problem, as you can imagine, that this Hasidic Rebbe, Reb Shmuel, he almost never paid attention to these guys. So they were insulted. He didn't pay too much attention to the head of these Enlightenment Jews or to these businessmen who were not really interested in Hasidim. He didn't consult with them. He didn't bring them along. So they didn't want anything to do with him. And so that one of the people at the meeting, they said, you ignore us when it comes to public affairs. What do you think we are? You think we are you think we're just lumps of wood to be moved around like pawns to serve your agenda? If you want to have us on your team, then you have to consult with us all the time, not just now. You can imagine somebody saying that today. Unfortunately, the egos were involved. So Reb Shmuel of Lubavitch, he quoted back for them this line from the Megillah. He says, in the Megillah Esther, we read of Mordechai's warning to Esther. What does he say? When Mordechai says to Esther, if you will be silent at this time, salvation will come for the Jews from another place, and you and your household, you and your father's house will perish. So Reb Shmuel of Lubavitch said, I'm certain, he says, I'm certain that what will happen is that relief and deliverance will arrive for the Jews. But what does it mean that, he says, I'm certain that if you don't help, the salvation will come from elsewhere. But what does it mean? You and your father's household will perish. What does that mean? It means you will have missed your opportunity to be a difference maker in the world. You will have missed your opportunity to do something great. And that's what it means to perish. That you'll have missed your opportunity to do something very special for the world. That a person has to realize whenever we do a good deed for somebody else, we're doing a favor for ourselves. Meaning to say that This is what in Kabbalah, the word for you, va'at, represents the reflection of the soul and the body, while the words for you and your father's house signify, Beit Avich, signify the soul's root and the source of heaven, meaning to say that you have the opportunity to be so connected to God. And if you lose this opportunity, you're losing this moment. I know that so many times in life, most people in life are looking for meaning. They're looking for meaning in life. And you have an opportunity to do something. Somebody presents you with an opportunity to make a difference, to do something good, to do something powerful, to help somebody, and you miss that opportunity. You are the ones who are perishing. You are the ones who are missing out on this great moment. That was the message that he said, and that's the message that the Hasidim take from this story. I'll pause for a moment in case anybody has any questions.